Alright, first off, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bashem Yahushai, Bashem Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well. Shalom to the brothers in the highways and byways pushing this word in all sincerity and truth. The sisters, the believers, the helps. Shalom. This is the brother Iron from the Jamaica camp. Come with another quick lesson. And this lesson is also going to be, a follow-up, on, the Jamaican government, and how they're actually, duping you Benjamites, you so-called Jamaicans, are of the tribe of Benjamin, predominantly of the tribe of Benjamin, of the nation of Israel, believe it or not, right? And we're just looking at how, your politicians, your governments, your heads, your rulers actually, take you for a fool. And one of the reasons why this happens is because what you guys trust in oppression, right? And you will be punished for that. And also you leaders, you will be punished just the same, if you guys don't repent, right? So let's look at the first instance. I want to try to make this as quick as possible. Then just gonna go ahead and close out with a few precepts. So let's see the first video of this man saying that he's getting the vaccine.
Given to our Prime Minister, 0.5 in the dosage.
Oh, so both of them got how many doses?
10 doses.
10. What about small vial? Care about his vaccine.
So you realize you keep on repositioning yourself, and that's it. Let's take it back a bit. Reposition yourself, watch it now, and it's done. Oh boy. No one in the country is actually buying this, and these people are getting upset, right? No, he went as far as to say that, if you guys, one of the reasons why you guys should take this vaccine is so that you can get back to partying. Imagine, there's a global pandemic, and your tagline, for the so-called safety of the country and for your people is to take the vaccine so that they can party. And even in the full interview or this full session, at one point he was saying that the biggest threat to vaccinations were big entertainers, because you have men like Bojo Banton and Sprague Benz, speaking against the vaccine, and he's saying that these people are the hardest people to deal with, and even now there's a so-called pastor being locked up, for in the article in the Loop, it was saying that it was based upon what was something in regards to public mischief. That was the charge, suspicion of public mischief. They along with other charges in regards to some money that they found at his premises, allegedly. So that's one of the things they're saying, that he actually threatened the Prime Minister, which brothers, I didn't personally watch the full video, and brothers that watched the full video is saying that it was pretty much saying that the Most High is going to actually judge him. So they're actually making a man offender for a word. So very soon, or at this point, you can't even say anything against the government and against the vaccine. All right, so let's see how he convinces the populace, to show how low of a people he takes you for. Let's continue.
Also want to take the vaccine for the public good safety. And the public good is the benefit of all of us. So if I'm vaccinated, you are vaccinated, and you are vaccinated, business can go on, parties can go on. And if that is not a good reason to take the vaccine for some people, then I don't know. Right? But parties can go on if you take the vaccine.
So you have people making memes off this, No, he's locked down. He has a 3-weekend lockdown for the next 3 weekends, and in the streets, everywhere you go, all over social media, everyone is basically enraged, right? Everyone is enraged. He passed also a bill, well, not a bill, but the brother Arya put it in the group earlier, where he was saying that no protest or march can be done without a permit. So no one is allowed to in the daytime. So no one is allowed to speak or protest unless they are registered. So they have to tell what they are protesting about, or yada yada yada, and they determine whether or not they give that permit. So it's censorship all around. Now, before I get into this article, not article, these fines, in regards to the COVID breaches, which I actually did a video about the ticketing system that they were going to implement, right? Let's see how even the opposition, along the whole parliament actually mocked the Jamaican people, right? Now, this is the opposition, saying that cost of living is a bit high as it pertains to food, or is extremely high as it pertains to food in the country. And this member of parliament, he actually supposedly bought $10,000 worth of food, which when you go through the list, if you're from the Caribbean or if you hear the list, I'm not going to play the whole video, but just going to give you guys a piece. You'll see that it's really barely 1 week worth of food, right? But they're going to see how crazy it is that they're actually celebrating and making a joke of it, and then on top of that they're going to pass ticketing laws which will actually be very hefty, and on top of that they're not even going to tell you what the money is going to be used for. So yes, you pass this law and you'll be charged, financially, or our time in jail, but what do you plan to do with all this money, right? So let's go into it.
Madam Speaker, rice, flour, cooking oil, mackerel, medicine, and other basic necessities of life that are imported into Jamaica have all gone up very substantially over this period, in large part because of the same devaluation that has resulted in these profits for the Bank of Jamaica. The Shadow Minister of Finance graphically showed these increases since 2016 in his excellent budget speech last Thursday. And Madam Speaker, I have a basket here, you see?
Yeah, so it did, it did show where it was how for some items it was I think 100% increase over the 5-year period, and it just showed it going up and up and up and up. It was I can't find that picture right now, but it was very, very a significant jump between 2015 and 2020. It's like everything was just doubling up, right? Completely doubling up, right?
The food in it don't even top the basket. It don't even top the basket. But it was purchased from a grocery. I think it's the same grocery you bought your basket from the last time. But it don't have no fish back in there. No fish back in there. Because them never have no fish back. But
fish back is pretty much it's pretty much fish bone with a hint of meat. Pretty much. Just as how you have out here in Jamaica chicken back, which was one of the cheapest kind of meat, mainly people of low income households would actually purchase that, which it's that the literally, if you have a whole chicken and you actually cut the back, like you cut it in half, open it, and then just cut the ends of the middle, right? That's the chicken back. It's mainly that spinal area, of the chicken, and that used to go for at least $20-$30 a pound. It's actually close to $200 a pound. The last time I checked, could be higher if I'm not mistaken, right? But hey, let's continue.
Tell you, this is what the 10,000. Let me tell you what this comes to: $10,018.66, and that includes $673.91 of GCT. So They're only getting goods really worth $9,344.75. But this is what it can buy. One loaf of bread. Eh, six Pampers. One roll of toilet paper. 2 pound of flour. 2 pound of rice. 2 pound of sugar. And 2 pound of corn. 1 tin of Clim baby powder. 2 tin of mackerel and 1 tin of sardine. 1 little bottle of cooking oil. Hand sanitizer. Pampers. 1 roll of toilet paper. 2 pound of flour. 2 pound of rice. 2 pound of sugar. And 2 pound of corn. 1 tin of Clim baby powder. 2 tin of mackerel and 1 tin of sardine. 1 little bottle of cooking oil. Hand sanitizer. 1 tin of corned beef.
So these men are these people in the government. They're literally, this man is making should be making a point that things are too expensive, and they're all making fun of it. They're all rejoicing of all of that, and that's supposedly $10,000 worth of items. That's not even a week supply of things. That's not even a week supply, right? And then on top of that, they lock down the country, or they do a lot of lockdowns, weekend especially, where a lot of people hustle in that time. That's where most people get their money. And then on top of that, they're going to come with some fines for COVID, right? So let me just go through real quickly. It says the government has announced a raft of fines, right? Which once again, I did a lesson on the ticketing system that they were going to bring into play, a few months back, right? It says up to $500,000 for individuals and businesses who breach COVID-19 protocols. Here's a list of some of the fines passed in Parliament yesterday. Not wearing a mask in a public place, $5,000. Not social distancing, $5,000. Not complying with curfew, $10,000. And as you can see, they just showed $10,000 worth of goods. Same. And imagine you breach the first and second protocol. It makes no sense. Not staying home if you have flu-like symptoms. Gathering in groups of more than 10. Right? Not quarantining when you return to Jamaica. That's $25,000. Not gathering in groups more than 10. That's $20,000. Right? Failure to quarantine. That's for tourists. $30,000. Requiring employee with flu-like symptoms to come into work. This is for businesses. $30,000. Breaking quarantine after testing positive for COVID. $50,000. Conducting funeral, worship, burial, or wedding in contravention of requirements, right? That's $100,000. Operating a beach, zoo, or park outside of the specified times, $250,000. And $500,000 failure to operate a hotel or resort in accordance with the COVID protocols. So, some of these applies onto businesses, but as you can see here, these are hefty fines. These are some very hefty fines. And so while this is the straight oppression, so they claim that they're doing the best for the country, but at the same time, they're actually, oppressing the people. But you guys would love to have it so, right? So let me just go ahead and get some precepts. me start with this one. This is Isaiah chapter 30, and I'll start at verse 8. It says, "Now go, write it before them in a table, and note it in a book, that it may be for the time to come, forever and ever." Because all of this is a part of prophecy. It says that this is a rebellious people, lying children, that will not hear the law of the Lord. And when the prophets go out and speak, the majority of Jake, you Benjamites, you don't want to hear the prophets. Even when you see us on YouTubes, you make all sort of comments under our videos. And when you see us on the highways and byways, you want us to get off the street. But here the prophecies are coming to pass, and you're the ones that are complaining, right? Which say to the seers, see not, and to the prophets, prophesy not unto us right things, speak unto us smooth things, prophesy deceits. So that's what you want. You want that smooth speech. You like the entertainment. You want to hear that. And funny enough, you people are always partying. So yes, of course they're gonna take you for some party animals, right? That's why they say, look, you want to continue to party, go ahead and get vaccinated, right? So they want to hear or to speak unto us smooth things, prophesy deceits. Get you out of the way, turn aside out of the path, cause the only one of Israel to cease from before us. And that's what you do. You don't want to hear the scriptures. You don't want to hear the doctrine of Yahweh Shem Yahushai. Verse 12, wherefore thus saith the Holy One of Israel, because ye despise this word and trust in oppression and perverseness and stay thereon, therefore this iniquity shall be to you as a breach ready to fall, swelling out in a high wall, whose breaking cometh suddenly at an instant. And that is it, with all these laws passing, it's going to get more stringent and stricter and austere as the time goes by. And you're going to be the same ones that are rioting and looting in the streets, and you're the same ones who will actually be committing sedition, as it is prophesied in the scriptures, right? But for those who don't turn from this mindset and repent and turn to Yahweh Shem Yahushai, this will be your fate. You're going to be broken. Verse 14 says, and he shall break it as the breaking of pots of the potter's vessel, that is broken in pieces. He shall not spare, so that there shall not be found in the bursting of it a shred to take fire from the heart, or to take water withal out of the pit. And that's the thing. The majority of you unbelievers, you 2/3, you don't want to hear this. However, you leaders as well, if you don't repent, the Lord is not going to have you blameless either, right? This is Micah chapter 3, and I'll start at verse 4. It says, then shall the offering of Judah and Jerusalem be pleasant unto Yahweh, as in the days of old, and as in the former years. And I will come near you to judgment, and I will be a swift witness against the sorcerers, right? You media personnel, because that's one of the major ways how you try to deceive our people, hence even the $422 million campaign budget, right? And against the adulterers, even spiritual adultery, going after these idols, but always as actual physical adultery. And against false swearers, which you politicians, you false swearly that you're for the people, right? And against those that oppress the hireling in his wages, which that's what you're doing right now. You're oppressing people. You even had this man, that was his car was seized because he has his tool that his tools that he bought in his car, and he was going to work, but he didn't have a carrier license, so his car was seized. That's a form of oppression, right? Even these lockdowns, the way that they are implemented, and all these things that are being implemented because in accordance to the so-called pandemic, it's all oppression, right? The widow and the fatherless, and that turn aside the stranger from his right, and fear not me, say Yahweh. Exactly. So the Lord is going to come and judge you, right? And your judgments are written in these prophecies, right? So if it's a case that you don't repent from your ways, these prophecies shall be, well, somebody's going to fulfill these prophecies, but for those of you who are ordained to repent, will repent, right? But the unbelievers have to do what the unbelievers do, and the judgment has to go forth as it is written, right? What was that next precept right here? Right, this is Ezekiel 13 verse 3. It says, thus saith Yahweh, woe unto the foolish prophets, and you politicians, you pastors, all of you are you entertainers, you are prophets, whether you want to accept it or not, right? The foolish prophets that follow their own spirit and have seen nothing. O Israel, thy prophets are like foxes in the deserts. Exactly. Because, it's all about, you and your pocket, right? You're actually being clever and what's the word that I'm looking for? You know, um, cunning, in a negative sense, right? It says, ye have not gone up into the gaps, neither made up the edge for the house of Israel to stand in the battle in the day of the Lord. Exactly, because you're not, the amount of reports that are out there in regards to, the fact that, you don't know the long-term effects of the vaccine and things of that nature. But guess what? You're still telling your people that it is safe, even though studies have shown that there's no telling how one may actually react to this within the long term, and even the whole thing of covering up the thing, because it's actually alleged that one of the JLP, I think he was a member of parliament, if I'm not mistaken, or a big member in the JLP. He they say that he died of COVID, when that's the official story. While it's rumored that he actually took the vaccine, and then shortly after he started he started to have allergic reactions, and he died afterwards. But they reported it as COVID, right? And you have even people saying that the family is saying that he took the vaccine, and that's after he took the vaccine he died. But the news is saying that he died from COVID, and someone was saying that who should we believe? And that's you leading your people in confusion. You're not making your people ready to stand in the battle. You're not preparing your people properly for what's actually happening on the face of the earth. You're not telling the truth what's happening with the economy. You're not telling what's happening in regards to the war and the political the geopolitical games that are being played with us being a small island, and the truth of where the country lies in that position, right? One may say that it will cause a panic, or one may say that he doesn't want to die, but as a leader you're supposed to give your people the truth, right? It says, they have seen vanity and lying divination, saying, Yahweh said, and Yahweh had not sent them. They have made others to hope that they would confirm the word. Exactly. You are trying to confirm that everything will be all right, when it's clear that it will not, right? It says, have ye not seen a vain vision, and have ye not spoken a lying divination? Whereas ye say, Yahweh said, and albeit I have not spoken. Therefore thus saith Yahweh, because ye have spoken vanity, Slakia, because thou hast spoken vanity and seen lies, therefore behold, I am against you, saith Yahweh. Right? And that's the thing, the Most High is against you, right? Now let me get two precepts in the Apocrypha, and I'll close out, right? This is let me get Wisdom of Solomon 6 first, right? This is Wisdom of Solomon chapter 6 verse 1, and it reads, hear ye therefore, O ye kings, and understand. And based on you can pretty much say that you're a king. The prime minister is pretty much a king, right? Or a ruler, or even a judge, and even all of them in the parliament, they are judges, right? It says, hear ye therefore, O ye kings, and understand, learn ye that be judges of the ends of the earth. And this is regards to every leader on the face of the earth, because they're all under the agenda 21 goals that they're trying to meet, and everything is all tied in to this new world order, right? It says, give ear ye that rule the people, and glory in the multitude of nations, for power is given you of the Most High. Exactly, the reason why you are leading is because the Most High gave you that power, right? But it says, and the sovereignty of the highest, who shall try your works and search out your counsels. So Yahweh Hashem Yahushua will try your works and search out your counsels, and you will get your reward, right? It says, because being ministers of his kingdom, ye have not judged aright, nor kept the law, nor walked after the counsel of God. And here's the thing, it's said that Jamaica is a Christian nation, right? But guess what? They're not following the laws of Yahweh Hashem Yahushua. We know that we can't keep the laws perfect, but not even to the best of their ability, right? They're not, right? It says, "Ye have not judged aright, nor kept the law, nor walked after the counsel of God. Horrible and speedily shall he come upon you, for a sharp judgment shall be to them that be in high places." And right now the prime minister is in a very high place. And if you should measure him up against the scriptures, believe me, he's one of them that is destined for this horrible and speedily shall he is horrible and speedily the Lord shall come upon him, right? And he will receive a sharp judgment, right? And once again, there is a precept that gives us an idea of what will actually happen, right? So this is second Ezra 15, and I'll start at verse 14. It says, "Woe to the world and them that dwell therein, for the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up to fight against another, and swords in their hands. For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor their princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power." So no one's gonna, whether it be America, whether it want to be Germany, but speaking mainly to Benjamin and to their government, no one's gonna regard you people, yo. The people are gonna actually there shall be sedition. So it means that there's gonna be an uprising against you politicians, and these people are gonna get at you, and it's gonna be because of your actions that you have actually taken. This is prophesied. Right, let me read it again. It says, "For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power." So that is prophesied to happen. It says, "A man shall desire to go in a city and shall not be able." Quarantine, lockdowns, restriction on travels, things like that, things of that nature. Digital passports. There's this program they have that's called ENDS, where they give certain people that register privilege to operate outside, businesses to operate outside of within curfew hours. But obviously there are going to be stipulations that put in place, and I'm almost certain, haven't looked it up as yet, but I bet that they'll be required to take that vaccine, right? It says "For because of their pride, the cities shall be troubled, and houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid." Exactly, full on riot. It's going to be chaos in the streets. It says, "A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, and shall not, but shall destroy their houses with the sword, and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread, and for a great tribulation." And that's the thing. Trade pretty soon, there won't be any trade pretty soon. The resources are going to be limited. Even the world food, I think it's the world who was it, I think it's the World Food Bank, or the UN Food Bank, or if I'm quoting the name right, saying that the whole world is on the brink of famine, because the food levels are pretty low. So hey, all hell is about to break loose. But you politicians that have duped the people, you will be judged, and you people for because you actually follow these politicians, you will be punished as well, right? As a matter of fact, let me end out with this precept in Ezekiel chapter 14, right? And I'll start at 9. It says, "And if the prophet be deceived when he had spoken a thing," once again, you guys are prophets, "I, Yahweh, have deceived that prophet, and I will stretch out my hand upon him, and will destroy him from the midst of my people Israel. And they shall bear the punishment of their iniquity, and the punishment of the prophet shall be even as the punishment of him that seek unto him." So both the prophet, you politicians, and those that follow after you will be punished by Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai, right? It says that the house of Israel may go no more astray from me, neither be polluted any more with all their transgressions, but that they may be my people, and I may be their God, say Yahweh. So it's all about, you not taking heed unto the prophets that came out and spoke and speak the word of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. All of this that I've spoken is from the scriptures. Thus say Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. So this is the judgment. All right. So, hey, I hope this is edifying. I hope that, whoever sees this and needs to repent. If not, the judgment is written. Once more, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bashem Yahushai, Bashem Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well. Shalom to the brothers in the highways and byways, pushing this word now, sincerity and truth. The sisters, the believers, the helps, the hopeful elect. Shalom.